And some people enjoy the atmosphere more than like the flesh. It's like a bathing suit.
I would say that the phone sex would probably be for a more intelligent kind of pervert, because he knows that, his mind can create a more powerful sexual image than anything in real life or on camera. Like, he can make it look like, Jasmine from Aladdin if he's really fucked up in the head or something, Hey, that's why he wants.
What's so messed up about that?
Well,
You hating on the Indian women, Kyle?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that's why they want her to do that Middle Eastern accent. They're picturing Jasmine from Aladdin in their head. They're just going for it.
It's a whole new world.
I was going to say was I've noticed that a lot of guys, when they do call, they have something very specific in mind that they want. Like, I have a particular regular who has this fantasy that he wants to live out, and his fetish is latex bodysuits and Halloween masks. And he wants to pretend that I'm his wife, and he comes home from work, and he finds me getting ready for a Halloween party wearing this Halloween mask and wants me to describe it in vivid detail. And, they have these elaborate role plays that they want to create that if you're doing this on a webcam, it's not really... You're not really capable. Yeah, you're not able to do that. You can create this whole fantasy when you're over the phone because there's really no limitations on what you can describe and what you can come up with.
So at what level would your fiancé become jealous? Phone sex. All right. I can kind of see, being okay with that. Webcam girl getting tougher. At what level does selling new pics?
About me doing webcamming, and he's definitely not comfortable with it, and I respect that. I wanted to do it for the money, but obviously, if he's not comfortable with it, I'm not going to do it. I guess he was uncomfortable with it when we first got together, but didn't want to tell me that because I had the job before we met. But when I started working from home, he became very much more comfortable with it, and he sat out here several times with me while I was on calls just because he, was doing something that brought him in the vicinity of where I'm working, and he's seen me work, he's heard me work, and he's become considerably less uncomfortable with it while we've been together.
So when you're working, your side of it, it's all just a show?
Would he hit a nerve?
You guys
Not
are
all
going
just a
to
show.
some customers here. I have to be honest, though, lots of guys really actually don't care if you're into it or not. They come with a fantasy. They want you to fulfill the fantasy. Like, lots of guys think that when a guy calls phone sex, they're like, okay, where's your dildo? Stick it in your pussy right now and let's get going. Like, I don't got time for this shit. Like, I'd say that
$1 a minute.
We just earned our explicit rating. Nice.
That maybe only accounts for about 10% of my calls. I'd say 90% is guys who want me to talk out a fantasy for them. Like, it's not about me, it's about them. And as long as I do what they want, they don't really care about what I'm doing over here. I could be reading a dictionary for all they care, as long as they're getting what they paid for.
Yeah, the reason I asked if your side is just a show, because it would, for me, impact my jealousy rating, if my wife was a phone sex operator.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I've been doing it for 5 years. It's a job. It's what I do for a living. It's work.
Have you ever gotten off doing your job?
No.
In 5 years, you've never got one person that actually did something for you?
Not once.
So
I got talk, maybe, like, if I met them in person, they sound like me and them could have, we could have been.
Courtney, you're really quiet right now.
Yeah, your mic's dying off.
My mic is dying off?
Can you get closer to it or get louder?
My mic is.
That's better.
Okay, I have a touchscreen computer. I don't have like a tower or an attached mic. It's like all built into one thing. So
Okay.
yeah. I forget what the question was. You guys.
We're asking if you've ever actually, been compromised during your work ethic.
I think she covered that, but I have what was I going to ask? Oh, did it take long to get good at this job? So, like, if you asked me to talk dirty, I don't know, I've got maybe one or two storylines I could whip out, and that would be it.
Let's hear them.
Whereas you're doing it as all day, 8 hours a day, and that's a lot. How long did it take you to sort of fluently whip out any fantasy that people come up with?
I'd say it maybe took me about 6 months to a year, because the thing is lots of girls have the ability to pigeonhole themselves. Like, they're good at being a submissive. They understand what it takes to be a submissive, and that's all they do. Well, my line of work, I've always had to be able to do everything. I have to be a fierce dominant. I have to be a wimpy submissive. I have to be able to cover all the ground. And a lot of that stuff doesn't come naturally to people. Like, you don't know how to make someone your bitch all the time. And I think the more experience I got, the easier it's sort of come to me. And I've learned how to read customers when they get on the phone. Like, judging by their voice and the questions they ask, it's very easy for me to figure out what they want and very quickly fall into that character to make it more real.
All right.
There
you go. For some reason, I can't keep my train of thought when you talk. I'm drawing a blank.
Kyle, you got any questions? You're about awful silent over there.
Kyle's in love.
You need to calm down, Mr. Gamertag.
I need to calm down. Go ahead.
I think we've covered most of it. I guess. What did you do before this? Like, did you ever have just like a regular, 9 to 5 kind of job?
I had always been kind of fortunate. Like I said, I had the ability to kind of get guys to do what I want in the past, and was able to usually set up pretty sweet gigs for myself where I never had to hold a job because I had a guy who was willing to pay my bills for me. I did waitressing for maybe 3 months, then I went a year doing nothing, then I did telemarketing for a couple of months, and that sucked, and I didn't do anything after that, and then I did phone sex, and that stuck, so I've had like 3 jobs my entire life.
So
nice.
Do you think you'll be at phone sex for a long time? It's been 5 years. Can you do it for 20 more?
I'm actually getting ready to go back to school. I finally settled on something I wanted to do, and so my degree for that shouldn't take me too long with all the classes I've already completed, and I should be able to start that within the next year and a half or so.
What will your major be?
Criminal science and crime scene photography.
Really? Wings would love that.
Yeah, I would.
Man.
Anything that involves dead bodies.
Oh, God. You just...
by serial killers and dead bodies. I don't know what it is, but if I could make a living doing that for the rest of my life, I think it would be awesome.
Who's your favorite serial killer?
Ooh. God, that's really difficult. I used to have a whole list of my favorite ones set up. God.
I got mine.
Why would you have that?
You guys have favorite serial killers?
Harry Holmes.
Harry Holmes?
Yeah.
What did he do?
He killed people at the World Fair.
That is awesome.
What he'd do is he ran a hotel, and he'd invite these rich ladies and men into his hotel because it was right there off the World Fair when it first started in Chicago. And he would suffocate them in the rooms. He'd lock the door had like an automated lock, and it would seep gas into the room. And then when they died, he'd drop them in a vat of acid in the basement and then sell their skeleton to the Science Museum. This was in 1890s, so there were no forensics back then. So they got a skeleton. They didn't ask questions. They just gave him $200, which was a lot of money back then.
Wow.
And he took the personal money they had off of them. He ended up killing, I think 30 people.
See, I like Isagawa. He's kind of like the godfather of all cannibal killers. Just this Japanese guy. He would just kill chicks, chop them up, shove them in a meat freezer, and when they finally caught him after all these years and hundreds of girls later, it was a complete train wreck, and I always just found him never-endingly amazing.
So what year did he do his killings? Like, what time period?
I want to say, God, it's been, it was in the, maybe, 1960s to the 1980s.
Okay.
So not too long ago, but most people don't seem to know about him, like he's no Ted Bundy or, Gacy or, Dahmer or anything like that.
Yeah, Kyle, do you have a favorite serial killer?
Who was that one guy who would kidnap the children and eat them?
That would be
older guy. He was
John
like
Wayne
an older
Gacy.
guy. No, this was an older guy, and I remember one
He
story.
was the clown.
This one guy.
Oh, you're talking about Albert Fisk.